Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vidane TV's coverage of the SIM500 Esports Racing League, brought to you by Transervice Transportation and Logistics Solutions. Tonight, the season comes to an end. 36 races, and it comes down to the Championship 4. Your fellow competitors are here to win, and we're going to find out who the Transervice Cup Championship is going to land in 2021. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the championship finale. I'm Kevin England. Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. is in the booth, bringing you the best coverage money can buy, and I want to welcome Tim Terry in. One final time this season. Tim, it all comes down to tonight.
Absolutely, it does. We have some returning faces. We have some drivers that are running for a championship, and obviously we got 35 of them that are running for a checkered flag here this evening. Going to be led by Kevin King, one of the championship 4. And then you look down the list, Brian Macklin, Daniel Falkingham, each in the top 5 when it comes to qualifying. And then we got one driver that might have a little bit of work to do at the back. Josh Parker going to start outside the top 20 and 25th. So this is it's going to be a fun little 130-lap race, but it's Atlanta. Everybody loves Atlanta. Lends itself to some good racing. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, swapped out Phoenix for Atlanta just because the drivers love it so much. And if we go back to Atlanta in the spring, March 22nd, Pedro Mojica won it. Started on the pole, ran an opposite strategy of everybody else, pitted only once, and drove off and had the tires to hold off Daniel Falkingham, who finished second. Last Atlanta race, Kevin King wasn't with us, so we have no idea how he's going to perform tonight.
Yeah, you look at the list of drivers that are here. Obviously, we've got some returning faces. I did see Justin Fuller's name on the list, and Josh Williams, you can see on the screen right there, going to start on the outside of row at number 3. So there's some drivers that we haven't necessarily seen a whole lot in the last little bit, but they are back and ready to complete this 2021 season. And good to see Jose Gonzalez out there on the outside of the front row. Great qualifying effort for the Goya number 26 as he'll flank Kevin King as they get ready to go green.
Yeah, best finisher at the end of the night wins it all. Job number 1 is to keep it clean. And, if you think about coming into this championship race, with all of the wins and all of the stats, Falkingham has to be considered the favorite. Kevin King's here to keep him honest, and perhaps he has something up his sleeve. We don't know how he's going to do it in Atlanta. But I would say, Tim, that, Parker, he's on a string of top 10s and has shown the speed in the last few weeks. And Macklin, he could be dangerous. Those two are here, and they know what their job is.
I think if you look at this, it almost boils down to what we saw on Sunday coming into the race. Daniel Falkingham, he's got all the wins. He's got double-digit win totals. He's the favorite maybe to win this one. Kevin King has been strong. He always knows his way to victory lane. Brian Macklin struggled in the middle of the season, looking to finish on a high note. And Josh Parker currently going to have to dig himself out of a hole. He's been looking for this Monday championship since 2008. This is going to be fun as we get ready to go green.
36 races on the season, 28 racetracks, 4,000 plus laps, and it all comes down here tonight to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Green flag is out. Kevin King hammers down, getting a push by Macklin as here comes 26. They're heading to turn 1 for the first time.
They'll funnel it down into corner number 1, and that inside line, nose to tail, will lead it through. Brian Macklin to the back bumper, the 29, and Kevin King. It gets a little bit close off of corner number 2, and Daniel Falkingham decides he wants to run to the inside, poke that nose down there, try to make something happen, but couldn't get it done as Jose Gonzalez fights back on the outside as they battle for position number 2.
Inside line got a good push, and it's going to be Kevin King leading lap number 1. Second is the 30 of Macklin. Here comes the 26 with a charge to the outside, and Josh Williams makes a good run as, Daniel Falkingham shot out of a cannon attitude. He's going to take over third, challenge for second.
Yeah, the 30 of Brian Macklin. I'm not sure what happened there at turn number 2. He must have got the apron in the middle of the corner because that thing coming off the corner had a 4-wheel drift, and that thing was dead sideways, and the 30 going to fall all the way back outside the top 5 and almost outside the top 10. Oh, in behind him, Jimmy Coleman through the infield. We'll see if that comes back up on the racetrack, but so far so good. Coleman comes back on the racetrack. I think there's one more back there that's off the pace, but regardless, we stay green. Great piece of driving by those guys.
Incredible job by Coleman to get the car slowed down, was able to keep it on the apron, didn't wash back up on the back end. We remain green. Here on lap number 3 is There is dicing and slicing all the way through the pack. Too wide in the middle, in the front, in the back. Everybody trying to claw for position here early in the going at the land note.
Kevin King continues to lead this one with Jose Gonzalez in second, Daniel Falkingham in third, and middle of the pack. There's Justin Fuller. We talked about him off the top of the show, returning here and looking to pick up a final victory on this season. He's got Kevin Brown ahead of him, and to the outside it continues to be, it looks like Tommy Ryan, and there's some drivers here in the middle of the pack that you'd think this would be a battle for the lead, but still early in this race. We're going to complete lap number 5, and those guys are battling middle of the pack, but here's the front. Here's Falkingham going to the outside.
Well, I tell you, drivers look like they have their hands full. They were talking about how loose the car was in practice, how hot and slick the conditions were. Justin Fuller a lap ago out of turn number 4, completely sideways, had the car wobbling, slid down through the grass, and again captured the car and was able to get it sorted out where he got to turn 1 banking. No problems, however, for Daniel Falkingham. He's going to slide into that second position and try and chase Kevin King, who's been leading it from his pole position from lap number 1.
And there's Josh Williams on the outside trying to take position number 3, and he will do so. But now he'll look at Daniel Falkingham down the back straight away to try to take away that runner-up position. Top 5 or so single file, and then you see that battle for position number 3. You see a battle back there as well as Kyle Taraska begins to move. Him and Scott Simley are going at it for a position. The field will come by the line one more time. Lap number 6 completed, starting lap number 7. And got a side-by-side for second. Got a side-by-side for position number 6. Nice looking angle there as they look down and come off at corner number 2.
Big sideways slide for Taraska out of turn 2. Able to gather it up. Taraska has come the furthest forward so far, but that's going to hamper his effort. He's right underneath the 30. Brian Macklin still hanging there in that top 6. You see a lot of tire wear here, Tim. These drivers have to take care of their stuff early on. They don't want to burn it up in case we get a long green flag.
No, absolutely not. And these guys usually put a long green flag effort together, so we'll see if they can do so here this evening. And when it comes, we've also seen a couple of these races this season, Kevin, where there's a rash of cautions, and I don't want to jinx it, but at the very start of these races. So lap number 8 going to come to a close here, and everybody kind of minding their P's and Q's right now. Outside line up front being run by Josh Williams. Everybody else has kind of found that inside line. There's Chad Coleman battling with the 18 of Kyle Taraska, and Coleman, one of those drivers who just barely missed the championship 4, looking to complete his season by going to victory lane. Still a long way to go, though, but this would be his home racetrack. He's from Georgia.
Still early on here in the championship fight. We'll go to the crew chief notes. 130 laps is the distance, 195 miles. You got 2 green, white checkers. These drivers, 4 sets of tires, including the ones they start on, and they can run about 60 laps on fuel. So we have about 54 laps or so before we see drivers tucking in, and again, they're going to have to take care of their equipment. In this racetrack, you could run the low, you could run the high group. We saw the 95 running high over there in turns 1 and 2 a little bit ago, and Daniel Falkingham went to the outside. He has pulled back into that second position. Daniel won the race last night, Tim, to claim the championship for Sunday evenings here at SIM500.
We had trouble for position number 3. Jose Gonzalez has gone around in the 26. He had help from the 95. You can see him dropping like a rock. That is Josh Williams. They made contact down the back straightaway. No contact with the inside wall for the 26. He got it woed down in time, but he is going to come to pit road to get service on that race car. So it's going to drop Josh Williams outside the top 5. It's obviously going to drop Jose Gonzalez to pit road, and potentially out of this one is, I believe he may be calling it an evening, and actually he missed his box down on pit road, so the night keeps getting tougher for Jose Gonzalez. But up in front continues to be Kevin King, and it's opened the door for Daniel Falkingham. He was able to get by that little incident there with second place. Kelly, Macklin, and Taraska, your top 5.
Yeah, all season long with this package, these drivers have talked about how important clean air is. We do know that Kevin King running out front is burning a little more fuel, but he has that clean air. He's able to pick and choose the line and entry to run and save his tires if he wants to do it that way. And right now, everything is kind of settled in. Got a side-by-side battle for third as Just going to see still that battle rages down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it's a great little tilt there as the 2 to the outside of Kelly and the 30 of Brian Macklin going at it for that third place position. The 18 of Tarasca back there, Pedro Mojica. We talked about him winning this race in the spring. He's making his way a little bit further into the top 10, looking at it potentially position number 5 here as Tarasca makes the move. Kelly to the outside, and there's another driver that had a decent start to this championship battle in the playoffs as they almost make a little contact down the back straightaway. Kelly was one of those 16 that made the playoffs, not able to really advance his positions throughout the first round of the playoffs, Kevin, but has had some really good runs this year.
Yeah, top 4 run nose to tail, but it's 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back to about the 10th position. Looking at Elliot Henderson, started 21st in this event, running 10th right now. Biggest mover in the field is still side by side up there for about the 5th, 6th position. Kelly is on the outside, just trying to clear Pedro. Pedro side draft to the number 2 Verizon car. He's going to pull down and come to that white line. He got a nose ahead, but the 2 has a good run off of turn number 4. He's going to draw even again, and I suspect they'll be side by side again when they get to the stripe.
And they continue to go side by side, and in behind them they continue to tussle as well as Chad Coleman starts to make his way towards the front of the field. E.J. O'Rourke to the outside as well. So 2 great little battles inside the top 10. You're seeing that battle for position number 5 on your screen as Mojica tries to take it away from Kelly, and Simley a part of this battle as well. And there's a battle right in behind, and even behind them they're still getting side by side. Elliot Henderson to the outside, Josh Williams to the outside, Doy Woods, it looks like Nelson Rivera to the inside, the 93 of Kevin Brown back here, Byron Daly. Some really good drivers back here starting to make their way to the front and trying to crack the top 10.
We look at the point championship and go back to the number 23. Josh Barker currently running quietly back in that 17th position, the number 23, not tussling. You know, one of the things he may be considering is does not want to have any problems tonight. If he could ride back here and then charge through the pack later and stay out of any potential early problems, maybe he's trying to avoid that situation, as Parker has come forward 8 positions but kind of pasted himself out here in the back of the pack.
Yeah, still trying to make his way through, but obviously there's a lot of laps left to go in this one, and a lot can change in a heartbeat, especially here at Atlanta. We've seen some great racing so far, but up in front, it's all Kevin King in the 29 car doing what he has to do to try to win this championship. Falkingham and Macklin second and a third, and then you got the battles in behind. Tarasca, Kelly, Simley, Mojica among those in the top 10. Elliot Henderson, impressed with him early in this race. The 37 has moved his way up into the top 10 after starting 21st, and he continues to march forward in the 37 car.
Yeah, interesting dynamic this week in the 29 of Kevin King. That's the number that Donnie Leah drove to a victory earlier this year. Donnie back in with his limited appearances. The number 7 currently running in the 18th position. Good to see Donnie back in the field here tonight for the season finale.
Absolutely. We mentioned some of those drivers coming back for the season finale. Justin Fuller being one of them. Donnie Leah being one of them. There's some drivers that we haven't seen a whole lot at the end of this season that are coming back and doing laps and making sure they get their final couple of races in. There's Fuller in behind as he tries to make up a couple of spots here within the top 20. Still plenty of laps to get it done as he battles with Mike Montesi and Glenn Campbell and Richard Beasley. And then back up front, Josh Williams battling side by side with Chad Coleman. It's a Tommy Ryan on the outside, the 93 of Kevin Brown, all working now. That second group, Josh Williams has been up there since pretty much the start of this race. It looks like everybody's starting to gravitate up there now as the rubber gets put down.
Yeah, Kyle Tarasca currently in that 4th, 5th position. He was up alongside Macklin for 3rd, and that lap just kind of dropped back. The Jersey driver looking to see if he can have a top 5 finish to end the season as lap cars have caught the 43 of Doug Roth, who doesn't have the pace tonight. Roth up to the high side as we have a battle for the lead. Here comes Falkingham to the bottom, the 29 of Kevin King trying the high side. King gets a good run out of turn number 2. He's going to clear Falkingham be able to pull back down in front of him. Again, King up in that middle line. Falkingham points a nose underneath the rear bumper. He's almost to the quarter panel. Can he pull alongside? Unable to do it. King's going to lead him back to the line.
So the first real challenge all night long for Kevin King is going to come from Daniel Falkingham, and Falkingham puts that car down low one more time as they go side by side through 1 and 2. King trying to hold on that outside. Daniel Falkingham trying to make it work on the inside as they go down the back straightaway. Falkingham going to have to try to set up this pass with the way the air works, trying to make it happen. Kevin King going to pinch off just a little bit and put that J Concepts, the team number 29, down to the second groove per se. Enough room, Kevin, to let the 39 of Falkingham breathe, but just enough to make him get that position. So a great move by Kevin King to take that spot back, and now it closes in those three and behind as you ride on board with jconcepts.net, number 29.
Yeah, certainly these two have been the Titans, and if you look at Falkingham's season, it's just astonishing what he's accomplished this year. No DNFs, 11 wins. He's won 31% of his races this year. Average finish of 7th. And one key thing about Daniel, his incidents per race are just below the fold. He has kept it clean, and he needs to do that again tonight. And, you know, there's no slouch in Kevin King. His stats are equally impressive with his 27 starts. But right now, Daniel Falkingham, he is showing a little bit of muscle. He's nosed ahead of King. King drives it in deep turn 3. They're door-to-door out of turn number 4. King with the advantage. He's going to have a little push with Macklin. Macklin goes to the outside. He's not going to be content riding there. He's going to come up and challenge the outside.
Brian Macklin in the number 30, looking to take away a championship in his sophomore season in this Transervice Cup Series, and looking to take the Transervice number 30 to the front of the field. He's to the outside of Kevin King. Falkingham into the fence off of corner number 2. It allows the 2 of Mike Kelly to go to the inside. New leader, Brian Macklin. And now Daniel Falkingham stuck on the outside. The 18 of Kyle Taraska going to try to get in here as well, as Macklin will go to the top of the board.
How about that? I don't believe people would have guessed that, as Kevin King now on the charge one more time. I think he wants to get back out in front. He's down on the bottom of Macklin. Macklin got such a good drive when King and Falkingham got side by side and just shot the gap. Went to the outside. King plows into turn number 3, down on the bottom white line, pulls the advantage. Macklin's going to have a good run out of turn number 4. It's anybody's guess as to who's going to lead him back to the line. And I think Daniel Falkingham's just looking for that same opportunity. If these two race side by side, it's going to give him some momentum to be able to work past both of them if he can.
Absolutely, it is side by side for that top spot, and Daniel Falkingham just licking his chops right now. Look at the run that he gets off of corner number 2, but where does he put it? King and Macklin racing aggressively here on lap number 28, swabbing a little bit of paint down the back straight away, and here comes Kyle Taraska to the inside. Taraska taking a little look. He wants a piece of this battle every time that he's here. He's running up in front of the field. He wants to take away a win to close off this season, but does he have enough? 29 laps being put on the board here.
With a little bit of a push from Daniel Falkingham, he got right to the back bubble, as they call it, behind the back bumper of Macklin. Now he's got a good run out of turn number 2. He's going to take the opportunity to peak low and try and get that position. No, he's going to ride in the tire tracks and protect that position. He's up a little bit of a lane. It's going to let King get in. They make contact. Just a slight brush. Didn't really turn Daniel sideways or help him lose any momentum. And look, here comes Taraska to the bottom.
They are racing like there is 1 to go and not 100 to go in this race. Plenty of racing action here as Falkingham up the hill with Kyle Taraska to the inside. And the 2 of Kelly going to squeak by, and that's going to move Kyle Taraska back. These drivers are aggressive here as they come by this time. 30 laps completed, 100 laps to go.
It almost looked like a Truck Series race as sideways as Taraska got. The air caught him, and now Taraska gets turned sideways. He's backed into the fence, going to get hit very hard. Multiple cars collected over there on the entry to turn 1, and Kyle Taraska's car is junk. Personal comfort Ford sitting there, and it is done for the evening.
And for the first time this evening, we'll bring in Paul Strickland with the Kong Beer Bong Instant Replay. Paul, what happened to put us under our first caution?
Big junk. Glad to have everybody here for the Kong Beer Bong Instant Replay. And you can see the 18 car wanted to be the life of the party. We're going to focus in on the 18 car. We saw almost what happened live here. So they come out of turn number 4. Everything's all good. They cross the line. Macklin leads that lap. And there you can see the 18 and the 12 get together. The 33 of Daly gets a little piece of it. Tommy Ryan gets a big old nose full, as does Kevin Brown in the 93. And a couple of other drivers getting down in the apron. They're able to get by without any kind of issues like that. And it looks like all 4 championship contenders are able to get by as well. Josh Parker now running in 11th, up 14 spots from where he qualified.
So the field, for the first time here at Atlanta, is under caution. It'll be Brian Macklin leading the troop around here in turn 4. The question is, will they go in for service? Can imagine, Tim, that they're going to top off for fuel. Is it too early? As contact made, Kevin King hit from the back by Pedro Mojica. Significant damage to the back of that number 29. I suspect they're going to pit for fuel. I have to wonder if they're going to pit for tires. And now King, from that first starting spot, is going to have to get some damage repaired.
Yeah, Kevin's going to have to try to get that thing repaired, one would think, because that is significant damage to the TV panel, to the rear bumper of that number 29 car, as King getting service to that J Concepts, the team at number 29, and see who wins this race off of pit road. And Macklin going to light it up and take that lead. EJ O'Rourke, I believe, is going to pick up a few spots here.
Didn't really speak too much about O'Rourke, but he was coming through that charge, and I think he's got a fast mount underneath him here. As I did see Daniel Buckingham, right side tires, left side tires going on. He did change 4. Well, I'll tell you what, it seems a little early to change tires. I'm kind of surprised that these drivers are doing it halfway through the fuel run. And I see Buckingham sitting there on pit road for a little while. I'm not sure what was his delay, but he's going to come out deep in the pack.
And looking at our graphic, Doug Roth is the only driver to not come down pit road under this yellow flag, but I believe, I'm not sure if he's serving penalty or where he got the pace car picked up, but he's going to come down into pit road this time to get service on his race car. It'll put Kevin King back to about position number 18 or so on this restart. Macklin will lead. O'Rourke, Kelly, Henderson, Woods, Brown, Parker, Coleman, Rivera, and Leah. And as you mentioned, Buckingham was sitting on pit road, and I'm not sure if he had damage or not, because he bounced it off the wall in the middle portion of that run. So maybe he was down there fixing damage as well, knowing that Kevin King had a little bit of damage to fix as well. So maybe just a perfect opportunity early in the race to come down and get that thing massaged out.
Yeah, we know off of turn 2 earlier in the race, we saw the sparks fly off the right rear quarter panel when Buckingham got into the fence. And, you know, for these drivers, especially as aero-sensitive as this track is, Tim, they're going to want to make sure even optional damage is fixed. It's worth the effort. We know they have fast cars.
And if you're going to do it now. You've got just under 100 laps to go in this race. You got plenty of time to pick your way through. And with what we saw with the aggressive type of racing for 30 laps into this race, I have a feeling it's not the last caution we're going to see if that does end up continuing. As the field will come by this time, we should double up here, and we should be back to green next time by.
So hit the reset button here. Have everybody kind of lined up. We see the 43 of Doug Roth coming in. Doug Roth was on the tail end of the lead lap when all the drivers went in. He was 1 lap down. We remember the field passing him by. Now he'll come back and join. I believe he might even be the lucky dog this go around, as the 43 coming back to the back of the pack.
So the field is formed up down the back straightaway, getting ready to go back to green. We'll have 35 laps completed, 95 laps to go in this Transervice Cup Series season. Last season's Rookie of the Year, Brian Macklin, going to lead this field to green with EJ O'Rourke to the outside, Mike Kelly, and Elliot Henderson, after coming from 21st on that run into the top 10, going to be 4th. And completing your top 5, going to be Joy Woods. to the inside in the 07. So this is it's going to be an exciting restart. We'll see what kind of rhythm and see what kind of field shows up for this first restart and see if we can get some green flag racing in here.
Yeah, and the entire field pitted, so everybody is pretty much running on the same tires. No one opted to stay out as the pace car turns left, turns the field over, and we're about to go green here on lap 35. Return to racing, working lap 36.
Good start from Macklin. He's going to get out in front with E.J. O'Rourke in a second, and then Kelly going to battle with Henderson. Keep your eye on Josh Parker on this restart to see what the 23 car can do. He's to the inside of that number 23, the Interstate Batteries Miller Lite entry. He's got Nelson Rivera to his back bumper. Doy Wood's going to move up the hill, and he's going to put Parker into position number 6, and he'll try to take a top 5 run here as he looks to the inside of Kevin Brown, and Brown is all over the back bumper of Elliot Henderson in the number 37.
Yeah, back about the 5th, 6th position. They're stacked 2 by 2 by 2. Some running down right along the white line. The other drivers to the outside as see a good battle there for the 7th position. Doy Woods to the outside of the 22 of Nelson Rivera, following the 93 of Kevin DeBrown. As good restart, to your point, from Macklin. He jumped out in front, but E.J. O'Rourke, he's had a fast mount since the drop of the green.
Absolutely he has, and it's good to see E.J. O'Rourke up here battling for the lead, but he's also got a teammate in Brian Macklin in front of him who's racing for a championship. So how do you balance that fine line by winning a race, because you haven't done it for a while in this Transervice Cup Series, or Brian Macklin trying to win a championship? And oh, by the way, here comes Josh Parker. Parker to the outside of the 2 of Mike Kelly. That's a battle for position number 3, and it's an easy battle for position number 3, and Josh Parker, like a hot knife through butter, to the inside of E.J. O'Rourke.
Just had a tremendous run into turn 3. Didn't want to get bottled up. Went to the outside. Then coming off of 4, carried even more momentum, and now he's tucked right in on the back bumper. A little wiggle out of Macklin out of turn number 2. Will that give Parker the advantage on the entry here? He is tight to that bumper, and I believe he's making Macklin a little bit loose.
And he might be going for the lead here after starting outside of the top 20. He started 25th here this evening. Josh Parker is looking over the back bumper of the Transervice number 30, looking for the lead here on lap number 40 of 130 in the Transervice Cup Series Championship finale. Out of corner number 2, points that thing to the inside, does Parker, but not enough momentum to do anything with it. E.J. O'Rourke sitting back there in third, waiting to see what will happen and see if he can be a part of this battle in the Personal Comfort 41.
Yeah, and King, he started back at about 15th, 16th, still running 16th. Just has been bottled up there, not able to make any advantage. He's running behind the 63 of Scott Stenzel. Now he gets to the bottom there and is able to pick up that position. Same story for Daniel Buckingham, just kind of easing his way through. Daniel picked up a couple positions, currently running in 11th, as they're 3 wide in front of him. That clears up. He's going to be able to go around the 37 of Elliot Henderson, and up front, I believe that, to your point earlier, that 23 really is looking to hunt the lead.
And look at this 29 in the middle of the pack here. Kevin King trying to get through this pack, as is Daniel Buckingham. You see the 29 trying to get by the 95 of Williams and the 63 of Stenzel, and he's having a hard time getting there. The 39 of Buckingham is ahead of this battle. They were battling a little bit earlier, but it looks like the damage on the 29 might be a little bit greater than the damage on the 39. You can kind of see Buckingham from three or four rows up there to the inside, trying to make a position on, I believe that's the 7 of Donnie Leah. You ride on board with Kevin King and try to get through this traffic checkup here, try to get through here. It's close times, nervous times for this number 29 camp.
As we see King trying to fight for his championship run.
Oh,
we have a new leader, the 23, right out front.
Kevin King to the inside wall in the 29, and that will draw the caution flag. Got into it with Scott Stenzel. We saw it live, but that is going to end, I would think, the playoff hopes, the championship hopes for Kevin King with that much damage. Paul, let's go to the Kong Beer Bong instant replay.
Yeah, tough break for the 29 camp and crew. Strong season all night long. May have a quick repair up his sleeve, but may have already used it earlier on here tonight. But we're going to take a look here. We're going to focus in on that 29 car You can see 3 wide right here as we come through, or we come out of turn number 2. The 63 gets a little bit loose, and Kevin King actually, it looks like he tries to avoid the spinning 60. Oh, you see the 37 car a little bit sideways as well. Play it again, a little bit slower motion here. There you can see the 63 car gets upset with the 7. The 7 gets into the 37, and it almost looks like Kevin King's going to try and shoot down low, but turns it too hard to the left, tries to overcorrect it, or tries to correct it rather, and into that safer barrier on the inside wall. So the good news is the car is in one piece. The bad news is it's a little bit on the caved inside. There you see another big bump onto the back of that car as well. So we'll see what the Kevin King camp does with that 29 car as he comes down pit road.
And that's an unfortunate event for 104. Kevin King, hard hit. He's going to roll down pit road here and go in and take that car to the attention of his crew. Hopefully there's enough laps, Tim, for him to try and recover here, but a significant update for one of our 4 championship contenders.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for Kevin King is that car is tore up, but there's really nothing he could have done there. Stenzel and obviously Donnie Leah got into a little bit of a tussle, but middle of the pack, everybody's on top of each other. With this aero package, the way it is, you really have to kind of play and anticipate your lines, and it's a tough break for Kevin King. But we still have we're just under 100 laps left to go in this race, 85 laps to go this time by. Anything can happen, especially with the way these guys are racing up in front. So Kevin's going to get that thing fixed, or as fixed as he can, and bring it back out to the speedway. But, yeah, he's got a lot of damage sitting there on pit road.
Yeah, and at this point, he'll just do as much as he can to get the damage fixed, limp around, not lose a lap, and then see if his car has pace. And we have to come back to just before the yellow. The 23, Josh Parker, went to the outside, was able to get alongside Brian Macklin and out of turn 4, squirted ahead of him. He's going to jump out in front. He was clear in the lead by a half car length, P1 for the 23 of Josh Parker, as Macklin still sitting there in second. And coming into this event, everybody talking, they would have thought that Falkingham and King would have run away. And lo and behold, the other 2-point contenders are showing these guys that they mean business, running 1-2 here at lap 46.
I just went over to see if Kevin King was still streaming or not, because I know he does stream his point of view during these Transervice Cup Series races, and his stream is offline. So I'm assuming Kevin, he's probably a little bit frustrated, a little bit upset, and rightfully so, with the way that his season has gone. He's won a bunch of races, or his run up front, and it's tough, especially if you're one of those drivers that you thought was going to win this, and all of a sudden he is behind the 8 ball. But speaking about the rest of the field, they'll come by this time, and they'll take the 1 to go. So we'll be back to racing hopefully next time by, and 2 of those championship contenders still up front with Daniel Falkingham in 8th.
So we reset the field here for a lap 47 restart. Josh Parker in the lead. Brian Macklin in second. Doy Woods, Mike Kelly make up that second row. Nelson Rivera, E.J. O'Rourke, row 3. Chad Coleman, haven't talked about him tonight. He in the top 10, running 7th. Daniel Falkingham has made his way to 8th. 9th is Scott Stenzel. And Pedro Mojica, as we said, the earlier winner this year at Atlanta, is in the top 10.
And we can tell you that Kevin King has officially retired from this event. So we are down to 3 championship contenders. Kevin King will finish 4th in this championship battle here this evening. And Charles Woods has also called it a night, as has Elliot Henderson. So the list continues to get a little bit bigger, Kevin, as these drivers, a couple of cautions, have taken out a couple of casualties in this Transervice Cup Series finale.
Yeah, and a huge story and a shame for Kevin as his season, I'm sure he did not want it to come to an end that way, but he can hang his head high. He has 5 wins on the season, and with his 27 races, he made the best of the effort, and unfortunately trouble found him here in the championship finale. As we go back to green, good restart for the 23 of Josh Parker. He's out by a car length and a half over the 30 of Macklin. Both of them tucked down to the white line and go back to the fight as they roll through to the backstretch.
Top two get single file as the number 23 of Parker will take the advantage over the 30 of Brian Macklin. The battle in behind them, Doy Woods going to try to take the spot on Kelly, and they battle it out with E.J. O'Rourke now to the outside as Doy Woods trying to hold that spot. Oh, by the way, here comes Daniel Falkingham, and E.J. O'Rourke is all kinds of sideways ahead of him, giving him a push down into quarter number one.
Yeah, you would imagine that all these drivers had whispered through that caution about the troubles for Kevin King. They all know he's probably out of the event. This time is the 07 is sideways. Is he going to collect Falkingham? Bangs into him, and Falkingham caught up, smashing into the inside wall, now to the outside wall. And we have a huge crash over in turn 3 with massive damage to the 39.
If you would have told me that Daniel Falkingham and Kevin King would be out before halfway in the championship race, I would have told you that you were crazy, but we're now down to 2. We're going to back this up and show you the Kong Beer Bong instant replay one more time. And Paul, this race has gone sideways for 2 of the heavy favorites in this championship 4.
100%, and don't have access to the driver's radios per se, but I can guarantee you frustration is going to be the second most popular F word being used right now. Focus in here on the number 20, the 39 car, the 207 Lobster 207 car. 07 gets a little bit squirrely, big time squirrely, loses it in front of a bunch of drivers right in the middle of the pack. 95 tries to come through there. You can see big contact for the 39. Tries to get the car locked up, ends up slamming the outside wall, and he's immediately going to call for a tow truck to get that thing down on pit road. Actually, he's going to hold on to it and try and drive it down to pit road. But like you made mention, Tim, another championship contender within 10 laps, done for the evening.
Yeah, Falkingham now crossing the stripe going in to pit road. No front end on the car. Back end is severely damaged, but he is still rolling. He's going to take it to the attention, and my bet is that Daniel is not going to call it a night. There is still the opportunity for the other 2 to have problems, Tim. And, if I'm Falkingham, I'm going to run all the laps. And, that's a stat we talked about earlier. I know that his championship run may have come to jeopardy, but he's run every single lap of the season. I can't imagine he's going to retire at this point.
Yeah, but he's going to have a lot of required repairs to make to that race car as well. And just looking at that replay, tough break for Doy Woods and E.J. O'Rourke, because I know you want to talk about 2 drivers that don't want to be associated necessarily with an incident like that takes out a guy that's won almost or over a third of the season, but nothing really they could do. But it's just the product of the way, A, these drivers are racing right now, and B, the package that is there. But give a tip of the cap to Nelson Rivera and give a tip of the cap to Richard Beasley. Both of those drivers made it through pretty much scot-free, and they're going to be battling up front. I believe Nelson may have come down pit road in the 22 car. Richard Beasley is going to be scored in position at number 6. And as I say that, as we look at him on pit road, he might have a little bit of rear-end damage to that race car. But Richard did make it through scot-free. You can see the number 10 there sitting in position number 6. And now it's a battle between these 2 for the championship. It's Josh Parker and Brian Macklin. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, I don't think the 41 had a part in that. I think the 07 just flat lost it coming up off the corner. The car got loose, and he chased it all the way to the fence. When he pulled it left to correct, the car flipped sideways, and unfortunately that death wobble in front of an oncoming field is going to result in the incident that we saw. Kevin King out of this event. Daniel Falkingham severely damaged, and you have to believe that as they're driving down alongside each other, Parker is looking to the right at Macklin, who's looking to the left, going, "It's between us." Can you believe it?
Yeah, I just went back to look at that replay, was looking at it from the blimp, and from that point, they were so close between EJ and Doy. You would have thought they would have made contact, but no, scot-free. You can see EJ O'Rourke's car. There is no damage to the front of that 41 car. So count EJ O'Rourke in the same boat as Richard Beasley as getting through that incident without any damage whatsoever. And the only damage that EJ might have is he might need a new pair of shorts.
Yeah. I have to call attention to the 6th place driver right now. Look at that number 10 car.
I mean, we usually see him up front in the super speedway races, and this kind of package, I don't want to say runs like a super speedway, but you do kind of have to dance with the air and dance with the package that we do have here. And Richard Beasley going to start on the outside of row number 3 with Chad Coleman to the inside. You want to talk about two drivers that know a thing or two about this type of package and enjoy this type of racing. It's Richard Beasley, and it's at number 38 to the inside of Chad Coleman. Keep your eye on row number 3. But the championship battle up in front, getting ready to get back at it again. We'll complete 53 laps this time by, and Parker and Macklin have control of this thing. They are racing for a championship.
Field is coming to green as Daniel Falkingham waited as long as he could to get the service done to the number 39. He's going to join the back of the pack just as the green flag drops. Currently in that 22nd position. Car looks like a modified, just completely smashed. His real challenge here is whether he can hold the draft with these cars and stay tucked in. Car can run fast if it's in the pack, but if he loses everybody else, it's just going to ride around and eventually get lapped.
Yeah, I have a feeling that thing is not going to be able to keep up with the way that car does look. But up in front, the 23 of Josh Parker trying to win this championship and win this race, but he's got Brian Macklin to the back bumper. Macklin kicked off the season in Daytona with a win and looking to do the bookend and win one here at Atlanta. But these two are your championship battle right now. Everybody behind is racing for a race win, and they are racing hard. Mike Kelly, E.J. O'Rourke, and then a battle side by side for fifth as Chad Coleman tries to hold off Tommy Ryan.
Little sideways wiggle for Beasley out of turn number 2. That's going to allow the 51 of Fuller to drive around to the outside. Fuller going to tuck down and secure that 8th place position, now working on the back bumper of Tommy Ryan, who's come from nowhere to run in that top 10. Has got a challenge for that 3rd position. Mike Kelly ducks out of line, goes down low, not able to get anything from it. Here comes E.J. O'Rourke to his outside. Kelly gets a good run out of turn number 2, going to cover that position. But O'Rourke has the momentum. He's going to draw alongside. I think he's going to pick up 3rd.
He is indeed, and he's going to leave the guys in behind him to battle for 4th, and Justin Fuller already to the outside trying to rim ride around here on those newer tires and trying to make something happen. He gets a great run at a corner number 4 that last time. He's battling with Chad Coleman and the number 12, or the 2 checked out of Mike Kelly for what is a top 5 spot here, and Justin Fuller is doing work in that personal comfort 51 to the outside as he works down the back.
Drivers talk about this package all year long, about the physics of it. They get a little bit of a bubble, they drop off, and then the car just picks up about 100 more horsepower as they get down the back straightaway. And most of them, if they can find a lane to the inside, to the outside, will take advantage of that. See Brian Macklin working on the back bumper of Parker right now. Right tight to him, he's going to ease to the high side. And I wonder if as he drives down through turn number 2, banking to the back straightaway, he's got that run. Will he pull alongside? Here he comes for the lead. Macklin to the bottom, side by side into turn number 3. Macklin noses ahead. Now the 23 should get a good run for the momentum to the outside. Dead heat out of turn number 4. Who's going to lead lap number 58? It's going to be the 23 by a nose.
You have to remember the history between the 51 and the 23. They have had a couple of run-ins in this Transervice Cup Series. You also have to remember that Brian Macklin to the inside, teammates with the 51 of Justin Fuller. Just a little footnote on that battle as these guys go at it for the lead.
Fuller gives a little shove to the 30 going into turn number 3. 30 noses ahead. Still, the 23 is there. He's going to pull down to the quarter panel, see if he can pull the 30 back. The 51 is going to give the push, and Brian Macklin back to the lead here as Fuller comes to 2nd.
And here comes E.J. O'Rourke to party, and here comes Justin Fuller. Nice to push you to the lead, but I'm going to go by here and take the point. Justin Fuller in the 51 made all the passes on the outside to get there, but now he's working the inside to try to take away the lead, and Josh Parker says he wants to go to the inside as well as he battles with the Transervice number 30. Chad Coleman's up here to party. Here comes Kevin Brown. Haven't spoken a whole lot about Kevin Brown tonight. He's in the top 5 in a close battle with E.J. O'Rourke.
Fuller to the front as they go around the stricken number 39 of Falkingham to put him 1 lap down. Falkingham riding around on the apron, off the racetrack, off the pace. Fuller in the outside wall. He's going to stack it up. 23 hard on the binders to keep off of him. Brian Macklin to the bottom is going to be able to drive around. Fuller pulls up to the outside. Good recovery for the 23, heads up driving, getting on the binders, not making that worse as Parker gets a good run and comes back to second.
What a battle up in front. And now Parker looks to the inside. He's to the left rear quarter of the Transervice number 30 as they will battle it out for the lead. And oh, by the way, here comes Kevin Brown, the 93 car, looking to pick up a win to cap off this season. He's got the 2 championship contenders ahead. Side by side, you ride on board with the best seat in the house, Kevin Brown.
But I tell you what, they were 3 wide with O'Rourke on the bottom, Doy Woods in the middle, Fuller to the outside out of turn 2 last time by. Almost looked like deja vu. This time everybody keeps it straight as unbelievable runs they're getting here in this top 10. Cars are stacked on top of each other and almost looks like a plate race back here.
What a battle up in front, and it's getting dicey as the 23 is stuck in the middle. Parker is going backwards and going the wrong way as he is going to fall outside the top 5, and I'm sure he's holding his breath right now, trying to find a spot in the line, and there's his friend Fuller, going to let him in the line by the looks of it, right in front of him and right behind Tommy Ryan.
34 starts on the season for Macklin. Average finish 18.62. Nothing amazing to write home. 1 win on the season, but all of that would be erased if he can get himself a victory and the championship here tonight in the season finale. And so far, he's putting on a great performance, leading out front by about 4 car lengths now as his nearest competition for the championship drops back to 5th and is trying to scrap his way back up here to the top 2.
And still plenty of laps to get it done. We are halfway home this next time by. 65 completed and 65 to go in the finale as Kelly looks to the inside. You see Josh Parker and Justin Fuller battling. There's Kevin Brown battling with the 2 of Mike Kelly. This is the battle for the runner-up position as Brian Macklin has the lead, and he will lead at the cross flags. We are halfway.
Yeah, Daniel Falkingham running 5 seconds off the pace right now. He's just physically going to need the other 2 to crash out in order to be a part of this hunt. I don't think any amount of repairs for him is going to put him back in the hunt here. He's already 1 lap down, soon to be 2. So our focus from a championship standpoint, it's just going to have to be on where these top 2 are running. Right now, 23 making up some ground. He's come back to 3rd, and he has a good run across the start-finish trying to get to back bumper of Mike Kelly in the Verizon Ford.
Parker going to try to take 3rd, and he will be successful in that battle. Justin Fuller to the outside, trying to make it 3 wide one more time, and he's going to have to go to the inside to try to make that move on Tommy Ryan and the 93 of Kevin Brown. Fantastic racing here at Atlanta as the front pack goes by. Daniel Falkingham one more time. Oh, what might have been for that number 39. Tough break here this evening as Fuller gets a little bit sideways, kind of loses the nose of that car just a wee bit as he battles to the inside of Kevin Brown. And look at the run. Chad Coleman gets to the inside of Doy Woods and Richard Beasley, a part of a top 10 battle.
Interesting to note that the top 4 right now, last pitted on lap 32. 44 was the lap pit for Kevin DeBrown and Justin Fuller. 50 for Doy Woods. You have to wonder if those guys out in the middle of that pack have a little bit fresher tires. Not sure if they changed, but right now things seem to be leveled off and quieted down a little bit for this top 4. They're now running nose to tail.
Running nose to tail and trying to catch their breath maybe just a little bit as we are in the second half of this race. And Richard Beasley hits that apron a little bit, comes up the racetrack. Close call there with he and Donnie Leah as they battle side by side behind this side-by-side battle. Doy Woods looking to pick up a spot as you see that battle with Beasley, the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. Glenn Campbell's back here. I believe that's Jimmy Coleman after going through the grass early in this race is knocking on the door of a top 10 run here on a lap number 70 of 130. So the laps continue to click away. Next time by 60 laps remaining. Macklin continues to lead.
It's an important milestone, 60 laps, because that's how long they need to go on a fuel stop. So if and when they pit after this, they're done with fuel. I'll tell you what, these drivers, They understand there's a point championship, but most of them are here just to have fun. This is the way to close out the season. It's why they chose this track, that wanted to run door to door, bumper to bumper, elbows up, and they're getting that kind of race here tonight. It has to be just a total blast to be running in the mix in this pack where they're running 2 and 3 wide back there.
For those two that had the issues earlier in Kevin King and Daniel Falkenham, I'm sure they're going to tell you it's going to be stressful, especially if you've got something to prove and something to fight for here this evening. And you can see Richard Beasley and Chad Coleman kind of in the middle, along with Fuller in the 51 as they continue to dance coming through as Falkenham goes one more lap down in the 39, going to remain on the racetrack. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a minimum speed rule here in the Transervice Cup Series, but if there was, he probably isn't meeting it right now as the 7 of Donnie Leah goes to the inside of the 10 of Richard Beasley. The 38 of Chad Coleman battles with the 93 of Kevin Brown. This is all a battle for position number 6 on back.
Single slow car to the high side. Everybody gets a little bit nervous, of course. Nothing really crazy to take notice of, but Jeff Ryan goes to the high side. If you got to be Macklin, though, you want to calculate every single pass you're going to make. As top 3 now, nose to tail. There goes the 2. Mike Kelly has not had a spectacular season, but I'm guessing Mike Kelly would love nothing better to end the season out by getting a win. He pulls down underneath Macklin. The 23 of Josh Parker going to help push him ahead. Parker goes up high. He's going to run down the banking, see if he could draw down underneath there side by side out of turn 4. Macklin with a good run. Parker just looking to see which hind has some momentum, and I think, Tim, he'll follow whichever one is better.
And right now, it's going to be Mike Kelly. Is Kelly going to take the lead? The 23 of Parker going to be right in his slipstream and loses a little bit of touch with the back end of that number 2 car, and that might be all it takes for Brian Macklin to catch his breath and be to the back bumper of the 2 of Mike Kelly. Obviously, you want to win the race to win the championship, Kevin, but you just got to beat Josh Parker if you're that number 30 of Brian Macklin, and right now you're doing just that, running in position number 2. They come up this time 74 laps completed, and look at this mess still in the middle of the pack. Fuller, Campbell, Leah, Coleman, Bentley Glazer, Bobby Wetzel. First time we talked about them all night long. They're battling for a top 10 spot.
You know, I was a little nervous of the 2 going into turn number 2 last time. The car got a little sideways, and he was a little more conservative. That backed the 30 up and allowed the 23 to get a run. As we have a crash on the backstretch, we're going to go under yellow here. As
we are still green.
Yeah,
they crashed
off the racetrack enough that they're not going to draw a caution. Both drivers going to run away from that as the 44 of Campbell able to drive away. We have a point championship battle side by side out of turn 2. Big slide by Josh Parker up to the door, does not make contact. As the 2 is driving away, they're physically dead heat going into turn 3.
Oh, the 23 drove it in deep that time into turn number 3 to try to make it stick. He's going to pay the price off of corner number 4, though. The 30 of Macklin going to get that position at the line, but the 30 continues to go deep into these corners because he knows it's the only way he can get that number 30, or at least be even with him with the side draft off of the corner. Side by side, didn't go as deep that time into 1 and 2. Macklin going to be able to get the run off the corner and clear him, and Brian Macklin will maintain position number 2, and Parker, we're going to have to reset. Oh, by the way, Tommy Ryan's up here looking to make something happen.
So for right now, that settles down a little bit. Mike Kelly actually starting to draw away. He probably has the biggest lead that we've seen. Kelly, such a veteran. He's been running since the early 2000s, and he knows how to get the job done. He has not, as I said, had the season he wants, but at any given night, he can show up and win. And right now, he's in winning form as the 44 loose and sideways out of turn 2.
Running down the back straight away, the 30 of Brian Macklin, the 23 of Josh Parker continue to battle it out for this championship. The 99 checked out of Tommy Ryan back there in 4th, and they've checked out by 3 seconds over the rest of this field, and I think they've had an opportunity right now to kind of catch their breath a little bit. Macklin goes to the outside, tries to bait Parker to go down to the inside and make that a 2-car battle side by side for position number 2 in the overall championship in this Transervice Cup Series, but not able to do so on that exchange. Parker holds on to position number 3. Great 4-car battle up in front for the top spot here in Atlanta.
And we don't know how close that was. The 44, no back end, the spoiler broken. Campbell into the backstretch wall, slid sideways, made contact, went back, made contact, slid across the racetrack in front of the field. The good news for us right now is things are stretched out. He found a pocket to go down to the apron and was able to pull that car. He's on pit road right now getting service for it. And for the first time tonight, it looks like, Tim, everybody's kind of spaced out a little bit here.
This battle right here is probably the closest battle that we have on track, and one small little misstep is going to bring these guys back together and is going to punch that accordion right back together as Richard Beasley has Bobby Wetzel on the front bumper as they work through the dog leg on the front straightaway. Donnie Leah is side by side just up the road a little bit, battling within the top 10 with Chad Coleman and battling with Doy Woods, and he'll take that position away from Doy and try to set his sights on Chad Coleman ahead of him. But nevertheless, great little battle up here in front, and Brian Macklin, speaking of up in front, going for the lead, the 30 car and the 2 side by side.
He just got the run he needed down the back straightaway, was able to draw alongside Mike Kelly, unable to complete the pass. Kelly still holds him at bay. Here comes Josh Parker with a run to the outside. You have to wonder if these guys are working on their tires or not, or just running whatever it gives them. It can't get any tighter coming up off the corner.
They are working it right now, and as is Parker to the end. What a move by Josh Parker to put it to the inside, put it on the door, and put it to the lead. The 23 car of Parker going to try to take that advantage, and the 30 of Macklin going to chase him all the way down to the grass. It's not even going to be Parker leading that lap. It's going to be the 2 of Mike Kelly leading that lap. But Parker, what a move to try to take it away, and try to take away at least position number 2 and possibly the championship away from Brian Macklin.
Yeah, good heads-up driving by Brian Macklin. He was against the back bumper of the 23. If he'd have rubbed him a little bit differently and made contact, he'd have turned him around. I think he kind of eased out, went to the outside, made sure he stayed off, and now he's going to come to the outside and come to second. So heads-up driving by Brian Macklin there, not to turn to 23. He was right on the turn-in for the quad oval, and the car is so loose right there, he certainly could have made contact and had problems.
And these guys are starting to turn the wick up a little bit with one more pit stop set to come. These drivers are putting on the show to try to get a championship this season. Brian Macklin will lead the number 23 at Josh Parker in that championship chase with Mike Kelly ahead of this field. They combine this time, 84, complete it in this Transervice Cup Series finale, so 46 laps left to go in this season. And Mike Kelly doing a great job up in front. There goes Parker looking again.
Mike Kelly right now with a 2-car length lead. The 30th Macklin right behind him is being shoved down the back straightaway by Josh Parker. They dive into turn number 3. The 24-degree banking here at Atlanta. Slide out of turn number 4. Let the car run all the way to the fence. Turn it down to the grass. And you're going to get those runs off the corner down the back straightaway. As they're going to come into some lap traffic here. We'll see whether the traffic is going to yield or whether they're going to have to drive around it as they come to the number 39 and Falkingham pulls down to the apron.
You ride on board with Josh Parker trying to get up to Brian Macklin and kind of see him a little bit sideways down to the corner, but no harm, no foul for the number 30 as he is keeping the 2 of Mike Kelly honest and the 23 of Parker right in behind, trying to mimic the same thing. And Tommy Ryan doing a great job holding with these guys as well. Top 4 have broken away by almost 4 seconds now over E.J. O'Rourke and the rest of the field.
Yeah, and Tommy Ryan was so close to getting to this top 4, he has to wonder, man, if he could have only had a couple more points back through the season, he could have been right here in the hunt for a championship. You've got to give credit to the number 99 in the season that he's had, and he's certainly going to make the best of it here in the finale as we're starting to close down the laps and see if we could determine the champion. And right now, these top 4 have broken away. As you see the 44 of Glenn Campbell limping along out of the pits. That car does not look up to speed. Not sure what's going on there with that Transervice number 44.
And has scored his 10 laps down in this race, so trying to get everything that he can. Final couple of points on this Transervice Cup Series season for the 44, but not going to be in victory lane in the season finale here this evening. They come back across, and Kelly continues to lead, but look at the run that Brian Macklin has. The 30 right to the back bumper of the two as they battle down into corner number 1. Lap number 89 being worked on the board, opens the door for Josh Parker. Parker considers putting the nose down there, but can't do anything. And coming out of corner number 2, the 30 will maintain position number 2 with the 99 Tommy Ryan still hanging on to this front battle.
39 at Falkingham, top speed 155. You would think most drivers would probably call it a night, but for Falkingham, even though he's 6 laps down, he just has to continue to run till the laps run out where he's not mathematically eligible to get a win, and he's just going to try and see what he could do to stay out of the way. Everybody understands his predicament, as you got to give up to Mike Kelly. You know, it's one thing to want the win. It's another thing to know who you're racing for the win and make sure that you don't have an impact to the schedule here. Is Kelly doing a good job holding out front but being respectful for these two guys racing for the championship right behind him.
And if you're Brian Macklin, you have to race smart as well. You know that the number 2 is not a factor in your championship battle. You know you don't have to win the race in order to win the championship. You just have to beat the Interstate Batteries Bud Light number 23 in behind you of Josh Parker. So you have to manage and maintain. If you're Josh Parker, you have the caveat of you can be on the offense. You see the 30 in front of you. You don't have to really make the move right now. You just have to kind of scare him and keep him honest as they battle up in front. Randy Yoakum's off the racetrack. We got a battle up in front as the 30 of Macklin will lead, and it looks like Mike Kelly's come to pit road.
Yeah, Mike locked him up, but it looks like he got down to pit road speed, and he's going to roll through. The pit road speed here is 50 miles an hour, and it must feel like you're crawling as he drops into his box. 4 tires and fuel, and this will be the final service for the Verizon number 2.
So when does it force the hand of the top 2? Mike Kelly came down. Brian Macklin is now leading. The 23 of Josh Parker in second. And the 99 of Tommy Ryan in third. So when does it force the hand of these top 3? A little bit of an undercut for the 2, albeit Kelly was up in front. And now we'll see what the strategy holds for these 3 as they run down the back straightaway.
Caution out on the speedway as the 63 around will go to the replay in a moment. As Macklin is leading, he'll come around and pick up the pace car over in turn number 1, and have to believe this will lead us to the final pit stops of the evening, Tim.
Indeed it will, and Bobby Wetzel involved in this one, but he came in a little bit late. I think, as you mentioned, the 63 of Stenzel may be the culprit of this one, or maybe not. We're going to back it up, though. And the 2's involved in this one, too. Maybe, Paul, it was coming off pit road.
Definitely has the potential. This is one of those wrecks that you started wrecking and just kind of continued on with it. So we're going to take a look at the 2 car, just wrapping up here the pit stop, and we'll cover pit stops here as we come off pit road. But you can see service getting done to the 2 car. We'll fast forward this just a little bit because we can do that here in live TV. And he comes off pit road. Everything looks good so far. And he loses the race car. Car gets away from him down in the apron, comes up into the racing groove. Big time contact with Fuller. Bobby Wetzel locks him up. He gets a piece of the back end as well. Beasley does a good job getting on through that as well. But a couple of cars involved here getting some damage from a major mistake on pit road there for Mike Kelly.
And it's feeding time at the zoo. Last pit stop we anticipate for these drivers. They're all going to get their service. The number 30 of Brian Macklin, left side tires going on. Fuel filling the car. And you have to wonder if any of them will take 2 tires. Macklin down and away. And will he win the battle? As they are physically inside of each other's car. And I believe Macklin let him off.
Yeah, the 30 of Brian Macklin, I do believe, won that race off of pit road, but it was close. It's the final service of the season. Unless we get a late caution, they go green a little bit. That might throw a wrench into the plans, but attrition starting to be a part of this one. I believe we're at 16 or 18 cars that are going to be on the lead lap here, so the attrition is starting to come into play at this point in the race, and it's anybody's game. Macklin and Parker obviously are going to be your top 2 that are going to hold hold the key. But now that everybody's up together and up close with E.J. O'Rourke, Donnie Leah, those drivers that were in that second pack, they might have something for these boys for a win at the end of this one.
Yeah, and just an uncharacteristic event for the number 2, and you have to believe he's kicking himself because Mike Kelly was in the hunt to win this thing here tonight, just trying to get all that he could. And there's a couple racetracks on this circuit where that apron down there in turn number 1 and 2 is just treacherous, and obviously lost the mount what came up across the track, and I'm sure he feels terrible that the 51 was involved in anybody else that got collected over there. But woulda, coulda, shoulda for the season-ending possibility of a win for Mike Kelly. And it has been an uncharacteristic crash fest tonight. I'm just shocked at how many cars we've crashed here at this event.
You know, we haven't had a uncharacteristic amount of cautions. Yeah, we've had 4 cautions, and that's not necessarily a huge number, but when you look at what we have here, you've got some big wrecks that have taken out some big names, and B, have taken out a lot of cars in the same time. So that's kind of been the story of the race. But we're going to come down with less than 35 laps to go in this one to saddle the race. We'll see if the caution count comes up, or we'll see if the good hard racing kind of trumps out as the field will come off at corner number 4. The lights should be off this time.
Lights will go off, and you can note that Daniel Falkingham is the 3rd car in line of the wave-around car, so he's going to come back and gain one more lap that puts him 5 laps down. And again, until there's 5 laps to go, there's still a minuscule chance that he might be able to have something go his way, and so he's just going to continue to go around here. I have to believe at this point, Tim, that he's fixed the car as much as he can. It's going to go as fast as it's going to go.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see much out of that car at the end of this. He might pick up a couple of positions, but he's already ahead of Kevin King. He's not a free pass car, so not a whole lot to gain if you're Daniel Falkingham. I don't anticipate 5 cautions at the end of this race, but we have seen some stranger things when it comes to this Transervice Cup Series. Pace car is going to be off. Macklin has chosen the outside for this restart. Parker will be on the inside, and we'll get ready to go at it again. You can see on the ticker that Bobby Wetzel and Doy Woods both out after that most recent caution. Wetzel out of the session. See Doy Woods still in there, but still listed as being out of the event.
Pace car about to make the left-hand turn, possibly for the last time of the season, and give a nod to Doug Roth. After getting a lap back early, he's running in the top 10, running in the 7th position as your leaders streak past the start-finish line, head to turn number 1. Good jump for Macklin. He's going to clear the 23, and he's going to bring E.J. O'Rourke to 2nd. Will E.J. O'Rourke I think he's going to bid for the win here.
E.J. O'Rourke's going to walk that fine line, though. That's one of his teammates in front of him, and he obviously wants to win a race, but how much do you want to help that number 30 as well of Brian Macklin to try to win a championship, knowing that Parker is the next one in line? And oh, by the way, might not be, because Tommy Ryan, Bentley Glazer going at it for position number 3 in behind. Donnie Leah, Richard Beasley, all behind Josh Parker, and Bentley Glazer for the first time really this season. He's a threat, looking for a race win here.
You know, I'll tell you what, Josh Parker, he owes a root beer float to the 99 of Tommy Ryan. He got loose through the quad oval last time by. The car wiggled. Ryan could have easily made contact to the back bumper. He lives to fight again, and here he comes to the outside. He's around the 41, trying to bid for that 2nd position. He's got a good run to the high side. Here he comes, O'Rourke, tight to the white line. He's going to drift up. But the momentum's going to be with Josh Parker. He's now to the back bumper of your leader, and he looks like he wants more.
This is going to be a battle for the win. They'll come down to 30 laps to go this time, and Josh Parker looking to do something with the 30 of Brian Macklin. Great run at a turn number 4, down through the dog leg. He's going to close in on the 30 down into corner number 1, but he can't do anything with it down into this first corner battle. In behind them, Bentley Glazer and E.J. O'Rourke for 3rd.
Complexion of this race has changed quite a bit since that caution. It's brought about 6 or 8 friends to the party. Roth is in there, Beasley's in there, Ryan's in there, O'Rourke's in there, and to your point, Bentley Glazer just quietly working his way forward. 27 positions gained, finds himself in third, and is looking for a win here in the season finale.
And it's going to come down to the final 29 laps of competition. Oh, by the way, here comes Tommy Ryan on that extreme outside, that line that Justin Fuller was using early in the race, all the way around the wall, all the way around the racetrack. He's trying to get one more spot out of this one, and there goes Parker again to the inside. Josh Parker looking to make something happen in the 23 car. Can't get there, gets that apron a little bit at a corner number 4. Macklin going to continue to lead as he'll complete 102.
Oh, and where did he come? David Comstock. He was back in the 20s, deep 20s, currently running in that 8th position in the Monster Energy Camaro. And the number 13 has come to 8th, and he's right here on the back end of the lead pack.
Down the back straightaway they go as Macklin continues to hold that top spot over Parker. The battle in behind them, Bentley Glazer and the 99 of Tommy Ryan, door to door at a corner number 4. The top 2 able to skirt away from this battle for position number 3 as they go by Falkingham one more time.
Falkingham physically clipping the grass, trying to make sure he's out of harm's way. He's going to be able to go down to the apron and slow up. Field's going to streak around as Tommy Ryan in third. Big slide out of turn number 2. Glazer going to take advantage of that. Glazer streaks to third. He's got the big run. Can he do something with it? As Macklin continues to lead, and you have to know that these drivers are not going to go to pit road anymore. They're going to run for the win here, Tim. Unless there's a late caution and tires make that much of a difference, these guys are just going to fight tooth and nail all the way to the finish.
If we get a caution with 10 laps to go, I think that's the only caution that really changes anything right now, at least for those front runners. If you're at the back, you have that extra set of tires on pit road, you might come down and throw it on if there's a caution in, let's say, 5 laps from now. But regardless, great little battle up in front. The top 5 have kind of taken a breath right now and battling it out for position. In behind is the number 10 of Beasley and the number 43 of Doug Roth. They're battling it out for position number 6. Leah holding off David Comstock, but the top 5 just waiting for something to happen here with 25 laps to go in the season.
If you're just joining us, we've had 4 cautions thus far and 2 major incidents. The 29, Kevin King, out of this event early, and Daniel Falkingham caught up in a multi-car melee on the back straightaway. That puts the other 2 championship contenders in the hunt for the season crown. And it is Josh Parker running second, trying to chase down Brian Macklin. The 2 contenders have been up in the top 5 from probably about the quarter mark here, Tim, and they are just fighting tooth and nail for this. You have to know that they're getting nervous energy inside both of those cars.
Absolutely. That championship is now within grasp for these 2. Brian Macklin has put on a show this evening, has run up front for most of this race, started on the inside of row number 2. Josh Parker started 25th. Polar opposites compared to where these drivers started, but now they are together at the front of the field, and now we'll see if Bentley Glazer, Tommy Ryan, EJ O'Rourke, Doug Roth, those drivers, along with Beasley, Leah, and Comstock, 9 drivers a part of this front battle as they continue to go at it.
I think we can officially declare this a 2-horse battle. As 1 car against the fence on the back straightaway, the 38 of Chad Coleman. He's able to get the car going. He's going to stay down on the groove. The car a little bit loose, but he was against the inside wall. No caution here on lap 108. Updating the story of Daniel Falkingham on pit road, and I believe the crew has called him in. He is done for the evening. It is now officially a 2-car race for the championship.
And Macklin and Parker are going to decide it amongst themselves, and still plenty of laps to get it done. And I think if you're Josh Parker, maybe you're trying to cool off the tires a little bit. Maybe you're trying to not push it as much. If you're Brian Macklin, you're pushing it as hard as you absolutely need to right now to keep the 23 in behind you. And then Glazer kind of holds the mystery card, or kind of holds the wild card, I think, in this battle, because we've seen it before in this race earlier on, that if these 2 get up in front side by side, that 3rd place driver kind of has a little bit of say as to where he pushes to get the other driver out in front and benefit himself at the end of the day, because Bentley and Tommy and EJ, they're all going for a win here to cap off this season as they come down to 20 to go.
These guys had 3rd, 4th, 5th they've got to also be in their headspace. They know they're not going to want to have a factor in the championship for this thing, yet they want to win. They'd be happy if those guys were running 7th and 8th and they were all tussling for the win. But right now, do they really want to get up there and mix this up? If, let's say, Glazer hops in front of the 23 and stalls his progress, gives the championship to the 30, will he be happy with that? I have to imagine, Tim, these guys are going to go for the period. They're not going to worry about that. As long as they don't crash them, cards are on the table that they can go hunt this win.
As long as you're respectful with everybody that's around you, regardless if they're in the championship 4 or not, you're going to race for a win. And for these drivers, Bentley Glazer's looking for his first win of the season. EJ O'Rourke wants to get to victory lane some bad. It's been a while since he's been to victory lane on a Monday evening. And but he knows as well as anybody else does that those two up in front are battling for a championship. And oh, by the way, the 41 we mentioned earlier, kind of satellite teammates of the 30 of Brian Macklin, they work together. The other three really have no affiliation with anybody. So if this comes down to a push and shove little brawl at the end of it, this is going to be interesting.
Lap 92, that's when Macklin took over the lead, and thus far he has remained unchallenged as we came back from that final caution. The 23, you have to wonder if each lap he's sizing up the competition, trying to see where can he the run, where can he find the speed, what is he trying to do right now. He has not been challenging, but he can almost physically push your leader out of turn number 2, so connected to him. Coming off the straightaway, as Falkingham did not throw in the towel. He has come back to the racing surface. Maybe he stayed in there to get some service done to the car, but he's back running again.
But up in front continues to be those top 5 snaking around this racetrack, nose to tail, waiting for something to happen in front of them. Doug Roth just barely hanging on in position number 6. And then this little battle right here, Richard Beasley, the 9 of Donnie Lee, and the 18 of David Comstock. They have something to fight for. The 13 of Comstock to the outside, trying to make something happen on Donnie Lee and keeping Richard Beasley honest. Yes, we've been focusing on the championship 4 most of this evening, and Brian Macklin and Josh Parker are putting on a show up in front, but these 3 here putting on a little dance for 7th at the end.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the things when you sit in the stands and you watch a race, you don't miss some of the racing that goes on. Even back in the 12th position right now, Jimmy Coleman and Joey Jatena running side by side with Scott Stenzel pushing them. There are always battles all the way through the pack, and that's why the drivers come out. They have a blast racing, even if you're running for 12th. You are elbows up, but we're just going to continue to focus on this championship. As does Josh Parker have anything for Brian Macklin? He's not been able to show anything the last dozen or so laps. Although he's been close, he has not made any moves, Tim.
No, it's still, I don't want to say early, but there's 14 laps to go in this race, but you still got a little bit of time to try to mount and pick your pass and pick your battle as you ride on board. Back there with Parker, they're going to put a lap on Kevin Brown in the 93. Parker still has that 30 in sight. He's in the slipstream. He doesn't need to push the issue right now. They'll come by to 13 laps to go, and still Brian Macklin holding on to this one, but it's going to come down to that final lap.
And typically it's about how the car turns through the corner, how you can get the runs, and a lot of that has to do with tires. For Macklin, hopefully he's able to hit his marks, drive the car, ease up on the tires, but he's been protecting that low line. So if he's holding the car down, could potentially see a little more right front tire wear, where Parker, he's just easing in, and anytime he needs to draw up, he can just use the draft, pull right back up to the back bumper. You have to wonder if the 23 is on tire conservation mode here in this final stint.
He might be just going as hard as he needs to keep that 30 in sight. And same deal with Bentley Glazer, same deal with EJ O'Rourke, same deal with Tommy Ryan. They might just be going as hard as they need to right now in order to keep up with Brian Macklin. And Macklin kind of controls this conga line, but how hard is he pushing it? How much does he have left saved? They'll come by this time to 11 laps to go.
And it's kind of quiet before the storm feel to it right now. Everybody running single file back through. Daniel Falkingham, you know, his car has fresh tires. he is right there behind this lead group. Now the car has picked up some pace, and he's able to run with these guys. But he's obviously not a factor in this championship hunt right now.
No, definitely not, but definitely a way to try to finish this race as much as you can on a high note. 10 laps to go for Brian Macklin, but tough break for that number 39. But he's going to see the champion as they come across the line. It's just not going to be him.
Yeah, I believe what Daniel did is went back to the pit and got the car fixed. Now the car has a front end on it, and that's going to give him a little more pace than what he was lacking before. But I have to wonder if he would have been better off stopping earlier and getting significant amount of damage fixed. But I don't think it actually is going to matter at this point, as we're at the Transervice 10 to go, and now we work 9 laps to go. Here comes Parker to the outside, taking a peek out of turn number 2. Now will he get a run to the back straightaway? And with 10 to go, inside 10 to go for this season end, Tim, I have to imagine it's time. It's time to go.
Yeah, it's time to get it done right now. If you're Brian Macklin, if you're Justin, or check that the 23 of Josh Parker, it's time to go. If you're the 23, you've still got a couple laps to maybe rest a little bit. If you're Bentley Glazer, you want to win this race. If you're those guys in behind, you want to go to victory lane. It is time to get it done. Here comes the 22 of Nelson Rivera on newer tires. He's going to slice through this pack, and this may be a determining factor here.
Yeah, he's 16 laps, or in 16th right now. He is going to come to third in the stack there. Boy, this is going to make these guys up front nervous. They're looking in their rearview mirror and seeing a car coming that has no play in the championship. He draws along the second place car. He's going to come up to the back bumper of your leader. And unfortunately for Macklin, that's going to prevent him from using all the racetrack going out. But I guess everybody's got the same situation. Will the 23 follow him through? Not going to be able to. The 22 is going to streak away. And you could check that off. It's not going to be a problem here. Is peek to the outside for Josh Parker there at the start-finish line.
And he definitely made the move that he needed to get up to Brian Macklin, and now he works to the inside, side by side, and Josh Parker up the hill trying to clear him. Slide job up on the 30. They make a little contact down the hill, and there go your championship 2 sliding to the inside.
Unbelievable contact for Macklin. He's around backwards. Josh Parker is going to drive away, and you have to wonder what Daniel Falkingham was thinking. He may not be sure whether they were killed going in there. The 23 is going to drive away, and here comes Macklin. He's right at the car. Unbelievable.
And he is not going to be happy, but hopefully they can keep it cordial, because they'll both be starting at the back of the field, Paul. Let's look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay.
We've seen just a little bit of everything here in this championship race with these championship 4 contenders, all 4 of them being involved in a wreck here tonight. A couple of drivers out early, and a couple of drivers, they're not out yet, but they definitely have a bit of damage here as we take a peek here at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And you can see these 2 guys put on a show whenever they race here in SIM500 and on Verdane TV. And you can see trying to complete the pass, Josh Parker slides up right in front of Macklin, right on that bumper, loses the back end of the race car just a little bit, skates it up into the outside wall, and then comes right across the nose of the number 30 car, gets the 47, a little piece of damage there on the nose of that car as well. But it looks like Tommy Ryan's going to pick up the lead here with... Going to get a restart with maybe 4 laps to go. Looks like we got a handful of drivers down on pit road as well. Things are getting ready to get exciting.
Parker's service down and away. He is driving off as unbelievable set of circumstances. You see the 30 sitting there still on pit road. Spent a little more time getting the service done. Macklin now down and away. I believe Parker's going to have about 4 car lengths or cars in between them, as we're going to go to restart here with just a handful of laps to see how this is going to shake out.
And when you look at the damage on the 30, I think the damage on the 30 might be a little more extensive than the damage on the 23, because I think he got the safety barrier just a little bit harder than the 23 did of Parker. But nevertheless, two cars in between them, Richard Beasley and the 51 of Justin, or check that, the 13 of David Comstock looking up through, and this is going to be exciting. You've got two drivers. By the way, there is a race for the win going on here. You got two drivers running for a championship that are probably going to be on the back half of the top 10. And then you've got Bentley Glazer, Donnie Leah, Tommy Ryan as your top three. EJ O'Rourke's up here. And then I think, Josh Parker is going to be scored in 5th, and Brian Macklin's going to restart in 8th. This is going to be exciting. We've got one around in front of the field.
That was Falkingham. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he just made a due left there going into turn 1.
Maybe the car popped out of gear by the looks of it. It looked like it shot straight left. It looked like it popped out of gear. But nevertheless, field in behind the pace car. We are going to have an overtime by the looks of this one, Kevin. We'll go green, white, checkered to determine a winner in this one. And A race winner, and B, a championship winner. And it might still be one and the same. Josh Parker running in 5th. He's come down pit road. He's got service of that race car, but a little bit of damage to it. We'll see if that hinders him with the new tires.
Coming into this event, there is absolutely no way you could have scripted this the way it's going down. Josh Parker is going to restart in that 4th position. Brian Macklin's going to restart in 8th. He could see the 23 in front of him, and have to wonder, the deciding factor, it looked like to me, was the 47 underneath when they went through that turn. Just could not get on the binders, tapped the back of Macklin. I thought Macklin was going to drive through, but unfortunately that tap by the 47 turned to 30 sideways, and that brought both cars into the inside wall and making heavy contact. It looked like Macklin got the worst, being turned around, but how is this going to end? It's hard to tell.
We are going to restart with 16 drivers on the lead lap, and this is the first of up to 2 attempts to complete this race under green. So we will have a green-white checker finish. Bentley Glazer is your leader. Donnie Leah, Tommy Ryan, EJ O'Rourke, your top 4. They stayed out on the racing surface, I do believe. And then you've got the 23 of Josh Parker. We know he's got new tires. Thank you, Paul. So there's some differing strategies here when it comes to pit stop length, but nevertheless, Bentley Glazer, Donnie Lee are going to fight it out for a win, and Josh Parker are going to try to keep Brian Macklin behind him to win a championship. Here we go.
So pace car is about to yield to Bentley Glazer and Donnie Lee. They'll have a battle for the win, and we'll have a battle for the championship. A good restart by the 23 as he's going to good jump. Will he try to go to the middle and gain a position? Brian Macklin to the bottom of Comstock. He's going to get to the back bumper of the number 10 as they streak through turns 1 and 2. Big wiggle by the 23. He's going to try and make it 3 wide, go down the bottom. 41 is sideways, and Macklin hard against the inside wall one more time. Yellow is out, but Macklin able to drive away from that incident.
And we're going to look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, and I know they're racing on a green-white checker finish, but Paul, when we look at this, I believe this actually kind of started with those two cars, the 41 and the 7, pretty much coming across the start-finish line, because EJ O'Rourke pushed the 7 all the way into a spin in turn 2.
Yeah, it was definitely an odd incident here, and we're going to take a look at the chopper because there was so much going on here. And there you can see, the 41 just kind of pushes the 7, and there's a little bit of a connection issue there for Richard Beasley in the number 10 car. You can see disappears on the screen right in the middle of a pack, and that's no doing of his. It just kind of blinks out, and unfortunate events where it happens. You can see that's definitely added to it. And we'll take a peek here at that 30 car of Brian Macklin. Looks like he is able to drive back up to 6th here, but we'll see. There's the incident in front of him up to the top right. tries to go down on the bottom side, gets a little bit of damage from the 41 car, and then a little bit more damage from that inside safer barrier. Big contact there for Tommy Ryan and Chad Coleman. But this is going to get interesting. Josh Parker up front with fresh tires, but a few spots back. Brian Macklin in 6th.
And after one him, if the 7 of Donnie Leah, who was riding out in the back, he had damage to the right side. The car just not up to speed. My guess is the 41 just shoving him because the car was not fast enough. I was wondering on the restart with that outside lane whether that would become a factor. And, well, we learned the answer to that over on turn 2 for Macklin, who was to the outside, just no place to go when they stacked up over there.
No place to go for Brian Macklin and the rest of the field. Got Richard Beasley nowhere to go. He was along for the ride on the inside. But now this gets even more interesting. The top 3, we know Parker had a little bit of damage earlier from his little set 2 with Brian Macklin. Macklin's going to restart it, as Paul mentioned. He stayed out on the racetrack in 6th. Donnie Leah is going to stay out on the racetrack as well. He's got damage to his race car. So you've got the top 3 or so. I don't know how much damage Doug Roth has in the 43, but Doug Roth is standing to gain a little bit here. Mike Montesi, haven't talked about Mike most of the night. He's up in the top 10. Scott Stenzel's back up here in the top 10, but you can see a lot of damaged race cars there. Jimmy Coleman's got a little bit of damage as well. He runs in 9th. So we know the top 3 have fairly somewhat clean race cars. Everybody else in behind, maybe with the exception of Doug Roth, the 43 car looks fairly clean from what we can see here on our camera shot. But this is going to be a very interesting restart in the final green-white checker of the season.
So if we look where they line, the 23 of Josh Parker going to restart in 3rd. He gained 1 position on that exchange. Brian Macklin 2-6. Now he's lined up on the outside behind Donnie Leah, who we just talked about may not have the pace. That he's going to want to try to get below the number 7 and in front of the 43 to the back bumper if he's going to have a shot at this. You have to wonder if Macklin's car up to speed after hard contact inside safer barrier over there on the back straightaway. And, well, here we go. Last time for the restart, it's going to be Glazer leading Tommy Ryan to the green. Pace car about to turn left for the last time this season, and we're about to decide who's going to win the championship.
The lights are still on the pace car, so we're going to go one more lap at least, and this should be the one to go lap right here. So one more lap for these drivers to think about it and see what they can do for Josh Parker, get a clean restart, and try to be ahead of that number 30 as the 47 will choose the inside by the looks of it here. So Parker will be on the back bumper of the leader for those Josh Parker fans. That's good for him. The 99 of Tommy Ryan to the outside, and then we know those 2 drivers, at least on the outside of row number 2 and row number 3, have a little bit of damage after that most recent caution. So we got a couple of storylines here to follow. It's been a war of attrition as we will wrap up our 6th and final caution of the event, unless we get a caution on the 2 lap to go lap on the restart lap. We'll see if we can get this green-white checker done under green and finish off this Transervice Cup Series season under the green flag.
I just wanted to get you all excited. You know, one of the things that Brian Macklin, if he comes away from the championship, he owes a beer float to Joey Jatina. Joey just took the 2 left on the back straightaway to keep away from that number 30 in that incident, and suffered a couple loss of position, currently in 12th, but he's going to soldier on to the finish here. As now the car is going to turn left for the last time this season, and we'll see whether Bentley Glazer can come away and score the season-ending victory.
It would be huge if Bentley Glazer can do this and pull this off, and he might have a good shot at a green flag is out. Got a battle for position number 2 right off the hop, and here comes Donnie Leah right into line in front of Doug Roth, and Josh Parker battling for 2nd, and Brian Macklin is falling through the field. He's already through 7th, and he's trying to hold on to this pack here.
Yeah, Macklin's car just not up to pace. Here comes the 54 of Coleman to the outside of him as EJ O'Rourke was making passes in the grass over there on the front straightaway for that restart. Well, what you want about Josh Parker and the damage to his car. He's got a good run out of turn number 4. Sees the white flag, and he is taking over the lead. Not only going to win the championship, he's going to try to win the race.
Final lap down the back, straight away for the final time in this Transervice Cup Series season, and Josh Parker is pulling away. Tommy Ryan moves to second, Mike Montesi to third, battling with Bentley Glazer in the final lap of this race, and he will take third, but it's all behind Josh Parker. He'll come up at a corner number 4, checkered flag in the wind, and Josh Parker is your Transervice Cup Series champion for 2021. What a battle at the end. It was a fight throughout 140 or 37 laps of this one, but it's going to be Parker coming away with the championship.
Parker gets the win, and heartbreak for Brian Macklin. After he led the vast majority of the later stages, he's going to come away with a 14th place finish and second in the championship. But the story tonight, Josh Parker held off Tommy Ryan not only to win the championship, but score the win. And I think it was an outstanding end to this 2021 Transervice Series.
And Parker is going to celebrate on the front straight. Oh, he's got a little bit of a damage to the race car. But Parker, I don't think it matters now. You are the Transervice Cup Series champion. Talk about that green-white checker to get you that title.
Yeah, Macklin's going to be pissed, but he can be mad all he wants. The arrow, I had no other choice if I want to win this race. The arrow was keeping him in the lead. He hasn't been up front all year, so, there's no excuse why the arrow wasn't keeping him up front. And I had a push going down into one, and the only way to do it was try to slide job, and I was able to slide job, and he just stayed in it, and, he got wrecked. So it is what it is. But, yeah, I'm doing a victory lap here. I still got a car going. Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
You were able to start 25th, and you kind of got behind the 8 ball in qualifying, but talk about how this race came through, because you had Kevin King and Daniel Falkingham, who arguably came in as the favorites on this thing, and they were out before halfway. Did your mindset change after that happened, or did anything go off knowing that those two were out and it was a 2-car battle between you and Macklin?
I screwed up and waited too long to qualify and started me in the back. I wasn't able to finish my second lap, so they changed my strategy of the race, because I was actually going to try to get clean air and stay up front, but I saved tires the first run, and I was catching these guys 2-3 tenths a lap on that first run, so I was hoping that went green. Either way, we were going to be up front. I wasn't worried about it. I'm good at Atlanta, always have been, and like I said, this is. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's good to miss the chase last year by getting wrecked by half those guys in a miss the chase. So it feels good to be able to race against them and beat them for the championship this year.
You've been trying to win a Monday championship for over 10 years now. What does it mean to win a championship here in this Transervice Cup Series, knowing the talent that's here every Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, I made a tweet about it because I started running my sim racing career at SIM500, and we got this Bud Light car going for Jason Williams, who won the last year before he passed away. And we ran the Bud Light tribute for him. We still got the Joe Gibbs colors on here too, with the interstate badge. But yeah, I won a Sunday night championship back in like 2007, but never, I was always in it for the Monday and never won a championship. So yeah, it's my first championship since the Pro, 2009, I think. So it feels good.
You mentioned Bud Light. You mentioned the Jason Williams scheme. Who else is on this car who helps you get to this championship this season?
Yeah, I mean, my buddy Adam Folan. We're going to a bachelor party on Thursday, so it's gonna be a nice little paycheck to go down there and he's been crew chiefing me and sponsoring me the whole year. So I can't wait to buy him a few drinks down there. And you guys are doing the broadcast. You guys are awesome. Everyone at SIM500 always puts on a great league. I know I start some trouble, but it's a fun league. Like you said, the talent in this is it's insane. So we were looking back at the beginning of the year. We were looking at this field and like, oh man, and being able to be at the Final Four is going to be tough a little and trying to win it. And then Kevin joined, quarter of the way through and made it just that much harder. So yeah, I mean, this is awesome. Joe Gibbs Racing, Interstate Barriers, Boris, everything. Hopefully we got something going on in the NASCAR ignition side now. So, yeah, everybody else, I'm sorry it's taking forever, but I mean, everyone at team name, Chad Coleman, Dan Falkenham, Bill Schoonover won the team title and the championship. So I got to thank him. Golly. Hell yeah.
That's Josh Parker, your winner here this evening at Atlanta and the champion. Josh, go celebrate.
Thanks, guys.
Kevin, I believe we're going to try to catch up with our second place finisher. It was a battle in behind, but Tommy Ryan, we'll talk with Mike Montesi first. Kevin, you've got Mike. Kevin?
Hey, Mike Montesi, third place tonight in the season finale. How about that?
Wow, what a way to get a first podium in this league.
It was an eventful evening, and we watched and had this debate all the way through about drivers behind those two racing for championship and how you treated them. But in the end, I think you all wanted to win, and a great run there in that final stretch to get yourself a third place finish.
Yeah, thanks. Had an extra set of tires that I saved, and it turned out to be what got me there.
So how does it feel this season coming to a close? It's been a pretty eventful season, and it's one of those things where, Mike, you don't get a lot of fanfare, but you're a supporter. You're in on the alternate nights from Monday nights, and you're in here on Monday nights racing, and all the way through the season just trying to better your finishes and to come away with third in the final. Something to build on for next year.
Yeah, you bet. It's a good way to finish the year, and looking forward to next year. Hopefully I won't wind up on the hook as much as I did this year.
Well, tonight when you finished third, it wasn't a fluke. You were right there in the hunt, and we'll look for more from you for next year. Who helps you get it done there, Mike?
Just on-site gas systems on the car, and Sim Racing Mafia is my team, so it's all good.
Yeah, I have to go back to that second turn on that final lap, that on around Bentley Glazer. I don't know how close, if you knew how close he was to your quarter panel coming up off the corner and the run you got down the back straightaway. Were you aware where his car was from the position?
Yeah, I saw him there and just had enough room to get right by on the outside. So yeah, it didn't feel as close as maybe it looked, or maybe it was.
Well, maybe you could take a peek at that, but nonetheless, third place tonight in the season finale. Good for you, Mike. Go celebrate.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
There you go, Mike Montesi, your third place finisher, and a solid finish. Wish it was for the championship, but Tommy Ryan second tonight. Tim has caught up with him down there on pit road.
Yeah, solid way to finish off this season, Tommy. Besides maybe a couple more laps, what else did you need to get to Parker? Because you were hunting him down there on that green-white checker.
Yeah, I missed the start. I figured Bentley was probably going to go early, and I had too much gas in the car. I don't know if that really makes a difference or not, but it just didn't fire off very fast. And I needed at least another lap to get to Josh, but it's just I'll just blame it on old age, man. Reflexes were not up to par, man.
36 races a long season, made the playoffs, won yourself a race. What will you take from this 2021 Transervice Cup Series season?
I met every goal that I put myself up to in the beginning of the season, which was make it to the top 8 and win at least one race. Almost got another one right there. The takeaway is just try to take what I've learned this season to try to have longevity, speed. I mean, anybody in here can turn a pretty quick lap, but keep turning laps after about 15 laps on your tires. That's the hard part, and just trying to figure all that out and keep up with Daniel and Josh and all them super fast guys, man. I feel like I'm a B driver and they're an A driver. I'm like a B plus, I think, and they're definitely A drivers. So just try to learn.
And looking forward into this 2022 season, I know there's a long ways away, but what's your outlook? What's your anticipation forecast for this 2022 season? Can we get ourselves this championship?
Yeah, I'm definitely. The next goal is going to be, obviously make the final round here. But, we're going to be in that next-gen car. There's going to be a lot to learn. I know iRacing is going to have some kind of at least one update before we kick this thing off in February, if not two. So there's going to be a lot to learn. I just approach every race where I'm going to go in there and just do what I do and run my race. I'm not going to get caught up in, how fast those guys are firing off on the starts. I know what's going to happen to me if I overdrive a car in 10 laps and I won't have any tires on it. So I have to figure out what I have to do to, get podium finishes at least.
I know you don't do it alone. Who's on the crew who helps you out to get to the virtual racetrack each week?
Northern Tool and Equipment, snapmobile.shop, they came on this year. Sponsored a couple series in SIM500. I'm assuming they're going to be around to throw us some goodies next year, so they'll probably be back on the car. Other than that, my teammates, Randy, Jeff, Ryan Howard, Elliot Henderson, we try to get each other up to speed as quick as we can every time we hit the racetracks. And thanks for you guys putting on broadcasts, and Joey for dealing with everything he deals with to make this thing happen. This is a great league. Of course, there's bumps in the roads and all kinds of different personalities that he has to deal with. But overall, it's I don't know if there's anything better out there. If there is, somebody let me know.
That's Tommy Ryan. We'll echo the same sentiments. A great season from SIM500 in this Transervice Cup Series. Congratulations on the season, Tommy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I'll see y'all next season or whenever.
That's the runner-up finisher, the 99 of Tommy Ryan. And he talked about the personalities that we have in this series. And before we wrap up, we're going to talk to one of them, the Super Speedway champion from earlier in this season, Richard Beasley. And Richard, we brought you on because you had a great run going, but what happened at the end to put you back to 13th?
EJ happened, man. Those guys got together above me and looked like EJ just came down into my right rear and turned me.
You've had an up and down season. I know you didn't make the playoffs. I know you wanted a little bit more, but what's your biggest takeaway from this season?
We had some good runs. It was a fun season. We definitely would have liked to run a lot better than we did, and I think we should be able to next season. We'll be back. Other than that, it was a good season. It was a fun season.
Now, besides Joey changing the schedule and running all super speedways for the 2022 season, what is the outlook for this number 10 team?
Well, if we're going to run all super speedways, we should be in the mix. We should be okay there. We just hold the pedal down and hope for the best.
Who do you got in this race car? Who do you want to thank that helps you get to the racetrack each week?
I want to thank all the guys down in Team Name. I want to congratulate Josh Parker on the championship. He ran strong all year, and he deserved it. Other than that, all those guys down there, Chad, David, Daniel, Doy, Kevin DeBrown, you guys do a good job up here in the booth. I'm going to miss you guys if you're not doing it next year. I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but everyone over here at SIM500, man, it's a fun group to run with, and if you're out looking for a league to run, come on over.
Now, we might be retiring at the end of this season, but if you need a spotter, we might be able to help you out with that. I just don't want to be the body man on this car because you've tore up a bunch of gear this year. But before we let you go, we're going to let you have the final word on this because throughout this season, we've interviewed Kevin King, and we mentioned where Richard Beasley finished. And do you want to take a look at these standings and see where Kevin King finished tonight?
Yeah, where did he end up? I can't. I think my screen scrolls that far down.
He finished back in the pack. Had a little bit of a wreck. So final words. I know Kevin's probably a little bit frustrated about it, but don't pour too much salt in the wound. But you get the final word.
Yeah, man. It's nice to finish ahead of Kevin any week, no matter what the circumstance is.
There you go. I'm sure there'll be some MLB or some NFL later on tonight. That's Richard Beasley. Congratulations on your season, and go celebrate the 13th place finish tonight.
Thank you.
Kevin, it's been a great season. I'm going to miss this Transervice Cup Series next year. They're going to be moving on to LSR TV. We wish them all the best. But final thoughts in the year. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, Josh Barker takes win number 4, and what impresses me, he didn't settle at the end. He charged to the final restart, went for the win to cap off the season, and I'm sure Macklin, heartbreak for him. He wins the Heartbreak Award. An incredible run tonight. It's got a sting to come up short. Still second in the championship, with the quality of drivers here, Tim, you can't complain about that. And if I look at the 2022 announcement, 32 race season, 3-race playoff for the championship, a little bit of change for the SIM500 team next year will be on points. So drivers like King and Falkingham, maybe they would have pointed their way to the championship, and they'll have that opportunity next year. 22 races, 2 drops, more off weeks. They've switched the schedule up a little bit. Should be a fun run for this crew next year, and I suspect all these drivers will be back with bells on in February. And it's been a blast, Tim and Paul, to call these races all season long with you guys. One of the best series on the internet, and just enjoyed the season and appreciate you guys for the camaraderie here on Monday nights.
But Paul, it doesn't mean that we are going to be less busy here at Vidane TV, because I know we've got a busy schedule upcoming. Neps has a doubleheader this weekend. We're back with Tim's Corner Live. We've got some racing to do next week with the TCM 300. We got a charity event next weekend as well, I believe. It's not it might be getting quieter on Monday evenings going forward, but we've still got plenty of noise to make here.
Oh, yeah, lots of racing action here live on Vidane TV to close out the year 2021 and put it behind us. We got a bunch of events scheduled for January and February as well. But before we get there, we got to get through the week. We're off tomorrow night, Taco Tuesday, so this guy's going to be at the bar. Doubleheader action Wednesday night, Tim's Corner Live coming back after a couple of weeks vacation. Loose Lugs Cup Series right after that. And you made mention a doubleheader out in the West Coast area in Las Vegas, the Bull Ring Thursday night, and the big Las Vegas track Friday night with the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series, the longest title name we've ever had on this channel. Saturday night we're off, but then Sunday night, East Coast Winter League coming back with the Tour Mods. Dylan Kopech and friends coming back. We're going to be racing through a 12-week season to bring us through the winter months. Get this, fellas, 85 drivers qualified or attempted to qualify for 50 starting spots for that Sunday night. Modified action Sunday night. You do not want to miss it. That's going to be a blast. Absolute fun here on Vidane TV. But that's going to wrap it up. Last Monday night show here. Phenomenal season. Thanks to everybody. Joey Gattina, all the drivers and fans here with the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series. The folks over at Transervice, definitely give them a like and a follow over on Facebook and support those that support us and our hobbies. But that's going to wrap things up here for us tonight. Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. down here in the production truck. Monday night's crew. Tim Terry, Kevin England in the commentary booth calling all the action. We'll catch you on the flip side. When we do, we're going to be doing it live.